All right, today we're going to talk about how your money can grow in the stock market and show you this by using a compound interest calculator.
Nice.
We're using one from NerdWallet. If you type in compound interest calculator, a lot will come up. They all work the same, basically. You're going to see how we just picked this one because it's simple and it's one of the first ones you can find, actually.
Yeah.
And it does the job. So in this example, someone's investing initial deposit of $400. And then every month they're going to put in $400. And over 30 years, if they can average 7% in the stock market, they'll have $470,000.
That's some nice growth here. That's some nice growth. Ryan, will you grab the mouse and put it over here in between?
Yeah.
Because I like how it shows how much you deposited and how much it grows.
Yeah, that's an important part of this for sure. How much did...
So if I put in, it tells me that I put in over about $110,000, but it's grown total interest is $155,000, almost $156,000.
Yeah. No, I love that too because you did the hard work making that $110,000, let's say. Now your money is making money for you in the stock market.
That's what I'm liking.
Yeah. You can sit back and watch it grow, so to speak. But you did the front work. You did the hard work of getting it in there. And we're using $400 because that's 10% of $48,000. So if you did 10% of $48,000 salary, that's where we got that number. Obviously, you can pick 15%, 20%. You can pick a dollar amount.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter. We're just trying to keep this simple. If you increase it, obviously this number goes higher, so you get to financial independence, sooner than later.
Yeah.
So 7% is a nice conservative number that should be safe, in my opinion, based on the history of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing if you change the percentage, though, Justin. Check this out. Let's say it goes up to 8%. Well, watch that 470.
Okay. Ooh. We got a nice, almost another $100,000 there.
Yeah, roughly 100,000. These percentages really are fascinating. We have no control over that, obviously. We try to pick smart investments,
right.
Based on the history of like a particular investment in the stock market. But we don't know what the next 30 years are going to do.
You've got another chart up here. Can you show us what the past 30 years have done?
Yeah, absolutely. So a really cool guy. I want to first reference a guy that really was into this, made this for free, so we should thank him. Down here, Ian Webster. I worked for Google and NASA. He's an engineer. But he wanted to make this because Ian, he says he believes this website serves as a valuable public tool. So thank you, Ian. We agree because
thank you, Ian.
It's very valuable. So up here, and we're not going to get in the weeds of all the information that's shown. You can later if you'd like to go in here and do that. But here you can see that someone invested $1,000 back in 1993 in S&P 500 index fund. In 30 years, and it grew by 10% almost, 9.98%.
That's nice. So that $1,000 is now valued at $18,000.
Exactly.
$18,500.
That's an amazing number to me, 10%.
That is an amazing number.
That is I'll show you this quickly. This is fun to play with. I encourage you to do that at home after you watch this video. If you go back to 73, so that's 50 years of history now, and then click calculate, 10.44.
Ooh, now we're in double digits.
Yeah. So when people say you can average 10% or historically you have, they're talking about this.
Yeah.
We don't know what the next 30 years are going to do.
Of course.
But that's kind of a good thing to look at. So let's go back to 93, like we were showing you earlier. Put that in. It's roughly 9.98. Let's go back up here and just imagine that we get this for the next 3 years. So you can literally put that number in. 9.98. And then you can see where you'd be at. $128,000.
That's the value of compound interest, right?
Exactly. The time, 30 years, because it's not going to happen in a couple of years.
Nope.
And just being consistent. And that's where you'll get. Now, the thing is that timing, we can't predict the stock market and when we put our money. But let's say we put it in, someone in the past put their money, started doing this in 1998. All right, 1998. So that's 25 years of investing in the stock market. We'll calculate that. That's only about 8%.
Okay.
So
we're down a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back here, though, just to put that in, just to show you real quick. 0.12. And then still, that's
It's still a good number, but you can see the difference between 1%.
Exactly.
Almost
Exactly.
1.5%, but yeah.
So you got to know the history of the stock market, in my opinion, to have confidence in doing this. Because if you think it's unreliable and what if I lose all my money, then you might not invest. And yes, in 1 or 2 years, it could be a horrible couple of years. But if you go 10, 20, 30 years back, it's different.
Well, the stock market's basically kind of like betting on America, right?
Yeah.
So do you trust the American economy?
Absolutely.
Right? So
that's a good point. The S&P 500 are the 500 largest American companies. And if you think all of those are going to fail, then we're all going to fail and we're all going to be hurting.
There's going to be a different thing.
So we're banking on the U.S. economy staying strong. So this is a cool site. It's called Macro Trends.
Yep.
It shows the history of the S&P 500 from the last 90 years. So you can kind of go way back and see how it's done over the years. The S&P 500, not the Dow or another. Just keep that in mind. And it's very clear and straightforward. All the red is bad years. Bad.
Yep.
Green is
good.
Good. So red, bad, green, good. Let's cruise to 98 because that's what we're looking at. 98. Justin,
holy smokes, 26, almost 27%.
Yeah, you made about 27% in that 1 year if you're in the stock market.
I wouldn't mind doing that every year.
Yeah, if it could average all that for several years,
then
we'd have 2 or 3 homes versus our 1 home.
Right.
The next year, 99, solid year, about
I'll still take it.
20% roughly.
Yeah, I like it.
But then 2000 rolls around, and some of you know this history and lived through it. Some of you were born about this time.
Right. Ooh.
Down 10%. Okay. It's all right.
It's not pretty.
Next year, down 13%.
Still not pretty.
Back-to-back bad years.
Yep.
3rd year in a row, bad years.
Ooh.
Down 23%. So 3 consecutive red bars, bad years. But if you look at this whole picture here, you can see that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
What was happening during this time period, Justin?
So back in 2000, we had the year 2000, we had the dot-com bust. So the internet kind of busted everything.
Pets.com
Yep.
wasn't flying anymore.
They're no longer here. And then the following year, we had 9/11 happened. So America's under attack. So obviously we didn't do so hot because of war times.
Exactly. And that carried over into 2002.
Yeah, because that was September, so it carried over to the next year.
Exactly.
And then we know back over here with this big long dip here.
But before we go there, look at the recovery in 2023. Or 2003, sorry.
Yeah, that's a fantastic recovery.
Yeah, after a horrible year, we had a great year. And then fast forwarding to 2008, which is right here.
It's painful.
What was that all about?
But that's our housing crisis. That's the great financial crisis, some people will call it.
Yeah.
It
was a bad year.
Put it back in the dumpster.
But then 2009 and on, a ton of green, a ton of positive years in the stock market.
Yep.
1 bad year during COVID kind of time period.
Yep.
But then in 2023, up 24%.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to show you 2024 because we're still in it while we're recording. But I guess we're recording, what month
March.
Is it
Beginning
March?
Of March.
Oh, yeah, it is March. Beginning of March, we're up about almost 8%.
That's
nice.
nice.
2024. So that's the history of the stock market. That should give you some encouragement that there's way more good years than bad years if you're kind of new to this. Mm-hmm. So let's cruise back to here and kind of wrap this up. If you just get into the stock market, we encourage you to and do it consistently. Every paycheck, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
Get in that good habit eventually. You can just go on with your life and live it, and just year after year, it's going to keep growing.
Yeah. Well, that's the key, right? Put it on autopilot. Have an auto deposit into your investment fund.
Exactly.
Into your
whatever you choose to invest in. Yeah.
Yep. And just set it and forget it. Let it ride. Let it do its thing.
And in this example, 30 years later, you have almost $500,000, and that's without increasing it based on your pay raises that hopefully you get.
Yeah.
Right? Teachers don't get huge pay raises, but a little bit. So these are kind of the reasons to look at this. I want to give one more quick example if that's okay. You remember, you can play with these numbers. Let's say someone watching is let's just say 40 years old, and they just started investing a handful of years ago, 10, 15 years ago, but they have $100,000, let's say, right now in the stock market.
Nice.
They decide, you know what? For a while, I'm going to invest $600 a month. I'm not sure how long, but I'm curious how much that'll grow in 10 years.
Extra 300.
Yeah. So this is a 40-year-old that has $100,000 in the stock market, wants to continue investing $600 a month, and in 10 years, they're up to about $300,000. So based on your situation, your age, and where you're at with investing, or if you can put in different numbers and see how it'll play out down the road, and then try to reach your goals of becoming financially independent whenever that might be, whether it's 50, 55, 60, or it doesn't matter what age.
So it's going to take time. This
Yes.
isn't just a quick overnight one over the 1 month or two.
Exactly.
It takes time.
Got to have patience and just keep plugging away. That's how good things happen.
Awesome.
So, all right. That's all we got for today. Good luck with everything you're doing in your life.
Yep.
Cheers.
See ya.